Hey, what's going on everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So I hope everyone here enjoyed the holidays, enjoyed their new year. I took some time off myself, as you could probably notice. But I'm back, and I didn't stop playing Splinterlands when I wasn't recording as much. I was just building up some battles so I could create some videos to show you guys some new strategies. And so my next few videos will be some newish strategies with some newer cards. This one in particular, I believe, is going to become the future of low mana. For now, low mana. I think as we get more cards, you could see it become a high mana play as well. But I think this is the future of low mana Splinterlands. So if you enjoy gameplay content, if you enjoy Splinterlands content, you've come to the right place. I am Hawks21. That's all I really cover on this channel. It's been a good couple months here in Splinterlands. We're all hoping that continues. But regardless, we're going to keep building. So I hope you join me. Like the video, subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay. So as I mentioned, this is sort of what I think is the future of low to mid, right? We're talking about 20s, maybe 30s type battles. Previously, we've had some, you'd have Kitty. Bakjira is a pretty good play here with cleanses, heals, etc. Especially with the Dragon Lily Shieldclaw Summoner. There's been a lot of defensive plays. There's been a lot of low mana sneak plays, right? Like sneak is a favorite of the 20 to 30 mana, specifically with water. But this low to mid mana strategy blows them all out of the water. It is an incredibly high damage strategy for not that much mana. And it involves weapons training, specifically weapons training with the life team. Now, the Moxian Rebel, I think is the name of the card, is the neutral rare Rebellion card that's 4 mana with weapons training and does 2 attack. I said I didn't like that card, couldn't be more wrong. One of the more expensive for its rarity. Just because it can give weapon training to 2 monsters, regardless of the Splinter, right? Ave Sturgis has quickly become one of my favorite cards for a similar reason, except it's even better. Now, you have to have life, right? It's not neutral, so you can't bring it out every single time. But I have it leveled up to level 3. It gets 3 attack. Being able to give 3 magic damage to 2 cards for 6 mana. So basically 6 magic damage for 6 mana is crazy. On top of it, its own 3, which is 9. So you'll see a lot of math here. We'll be counting a lot of math. 31 mana, 3, 6. We have the double attack Conjurer, so that makes 12. 17, 20, 22 attack, 31 mana. Okay, 22. Here we have 4, 6, 9, 11, 15. Maybe 17 if it gets, when this gets enraged. So let's say 15, 22 to 15. I have a 7 damage advantage. All of my damage in this strategy is going to the same place. I am firing an insane amount of damage for this mana count, all to the front line. Let's just watch this play out. Now, obviously, we do get some nerfs in there, so it's not as crazy, right? But the best thing about bringing this card is it has the immunity. And again, I feel like I have to stress this. When I show these videos and these strategies, it's not necessarily to say, go buy Ziriel, right? I understand Ziriel is incredibly expensive. That's not what I'm saying. is for you to start thinking about these types of situations. You know, maybe you've pulled Abe's Sturges and haven't used them. Maybe you've pulled some of the other ranged weapons training cards. How can you implement this into some low mana strategies? Because you're getting 3 damage here from the Chaos Agent for 1 mana. You're getting 6, this is reduced to 5, damage for 2 mana on the Pelakar Conjurer. The damage to mana ratio is just crazy with these low mana weapons training strategies. And there's really no great defense for it. So again, I'm not saying you have to go buy Zeriel, even though when I did make the video talking about Zeriel, the price skyrocketed. You know, I understand that not everyone's going to have all of these cards, you know, here and here. But there's other, like most people have the Chaos Agent, most people have the Conjurer. You can try to create something similar for your league, your level. Similar type thing here. And I mean here, right, we're using some less expensive cards, right? So this one you just got to pull. This one I only have up to level 5. This is a tournament, so you don't get penalties, so I'm fine using not leveled up cards. I only have this to level 5. We have Abe's, which again you have to pull. Most people have the Conjurer. And then I don't even have the Gargoyle Scrapper leveled up. Now again, I understand Zeriel is very expensive. That's not what I'm saying. There's just a multitude of ways to play this type of strategy, right? I'm not playing that really expensive Rare Rebellion no attack card in this one, right? So just something to think about. All right, let's think about this damage again. We have 2, 5, 8, plus 6, 14, 19, did I do that right? 22. So 22 again. Oh yeah, I guess it'd be basically the same exact thing as last time. 22 for 30 mana. Okay, so 22. They have 2, 4. This is a good low mana card. 8, another good low mana card. 12, 2, brings it to 14, 17. So they can get up to 17. I'm getting 22. And again, the other most important thing to remember about this strategy, this is tacking up here, this is tacking up here, up here, up here, up here, up here. This one is going to opportunity, this one's sneaking, this one's opportunity, these two are up front, this one's up front. So this is a very powerful strategy where every point of damage is directed up front. Let's watch this again. Not much variation. We have 3 more after this. One that's kind of similar vibe, and then one slightly higher mana, and then I'll show you a potential counter, but it still wasn't enough. So this one was really annoying actually, because we had to go through the Blinding Reflector 3 times with Void Armor. This is also a really great reverse speed strategy, as you can see. I have a lot of slow cards out there. Obviously, the Conjurer is not that slow, but it's still pretty defensive. It does have the flying, which gives it a chance to dodge. Has Magic Reflect. It also has Divine Shield. It was already hit with a return with a Magic Reflect, so the Divine Shield is gone. But it's still pretty defensive, which is why I put it up there. The big thing that made Out Sturges not only viable, I think like an incredible card. It's one of my favorite low mana sort of strategy cards now. Is the fact that when Out Sturges is eliminated, the cards that it trained, so in this case the Conjurer and the Albahu Forester, don't actually lose their magic attack. So we finally get through the Blinding Reflector 3 times, and now we can kind of just do our thing. We don't need to worry about shield. And it's just too much damage. Doesn't really matter how many times you bring back your card. just an immense amount of damage. This is what I was talking about. So now it comes back with the Divine Shield. So it takes a hit, and it still has shield. So it takes another hit. So even though it's not ideal in the reverse speed context, it still just works. Other thing to notice is what card do you make your, in this case, your double attack card. So normally I do the Pelacor Conjurer. Why? Because it's fast, 1, so it's going to be able to hit. 2, it has flying, so I don't need to worry about a flying monster dodging it. And then 3, when it gets to the front, again, it won't be able to use the ranged, obviously, unless it's close range rule set, but the magic will still fire from the front. But in this case, it's reverse speed, so I use the slower card to be my double attack monster. So if you're going to run the same exact strategy, or if you can work out a double weapons training strategy, make your double attack monster the one that's most likely to hit. And yeah, so we pick up this win, similar style. One more that's kind of a similar style. We will do our math together. This one's 29 mana, so we're getting smaller and smaller. But we have, hold on. So before nerfs, again, we get nerfed here, we get nerfed here. But before nerfs, we're talking 2. Is it going to be 22 again? I think it is. 2, 5, 8, 14, 19, 22. And on the other side, we have 2, 3, 6, 8. So 22 to 8. All right. 22 to 8. It's just not fair. You know, and they try to do some defensive stuff. I mean, this wasn't that great of a play on their part, just because you can't miss. But yeah, I mean, even though they're nerfing a magic, they're nerfing a ranged, and they all have void. So instead of doing 3 damage, Aves is doing 1. The Pelacor Conjurer is doing 1 from the magic. They reduced our damage a ton, but it just doesn't matter. It's such a high base that even if you come across like a really great defensive lineup like this, that can be difficult to get through, your base damage is just so high that even with the nerfs, you know, in this one right here, the Smith is obviously a very key card, and I realize it's very, very expensive. Oh, nice little tournament prize there. I've been playing a lot of tournaments as well. You'll see a decent amount of tournament battles in some of my upcoming videos. Oh, this happened to be a tournament right here. There's my SPS. I mean, I think that the entry fee for that tournament was 6 SPS. I just pulled in 40 something. So definitely not a bad return, especially with SPS at these levels. But yeah, too much damage. Stop me if you've heard that before. Okay, those 3 were a little competitive, repetitive. Let's step up the mana count a little bit. So yeah, we got it. I'm gonna get this pop up in every screen. So this one, 41. Okay, so we're bringing up the mana count a bit, right? It's up by almost 10. What does that allow me to do? Allows me to play basically the similar back line. I get to upgrade the Chaos Agent for the Scavo Hireling. One thing to be careful about in this case is this has camo, which the reason why I put the Chaos Agent in the back is because it will attract all the sneak attacks and it can dodge it potentially. So it frees up the Ziriel to hopefully life leech a bit before it gets targeted, before she gets targeted. In this case, Ziriel would be susceptible to the sneak. The reason why I was fine bringing the camo monster behind it this case was because you don't generally see sneak in Equalizer, right? Sneak is good because the cards in the back line are generally lower health, so you can overwhelm them and get a couple kills really quickly. In this case, right, everyone has the same health, so sneak is a little bit less effective. But yeah, so I could play the same base, And, you know, you've seen my throw-in cards, right? Like, the main strategy is these 5 cards, you know, switch this for the Chaos Agent. And then it's a throw-in card, right? In one of them, I used a 1 mana card. In another, I used Dr. Blight, which is obviously a great card. Another one, I used a Blinding Reflector. Well, my throw-in card for this one happens to be the Mantaroth, which is, again, a fantastic card. So this does scale up a bit, right? I wouldn't bring this out in 50, 60, etc., because then you can sort of just naturally get your damage really, really high. But it does scale up, as you can see. We're just doing a ton of damage. And it lets me bring a bunch of repairs alongside Wraith, right? So I have repair, repair, repair. You know, and the downside of bringing those repair cards normally is outside of the Mantaroth, the other 2 don't attack. But in this case now, they have 3 attack. It's just a huge plus. They are going to get through the Mantaroth, because again, we're in a situation now where my opponent, doing just sort of a normal strategy with 41 mana, can bring way more damage. So they're having some success. But this lineup is just so powerful that, you know, I haven't tested it that much in really high mana, just because I think there's better sort of strategies, specifically with the life team, right? When you get in a really high mana with the life team, I like to do Iziar strategies. So there's really not a clear play there. But yeah, this is one of the highest mana battles that I've tried to do. And I'm showing you it so you can assume that it was pretty successful. So I think this is going to end up being sort of the future of Splinterlands. Splinterlands low mana, I should say. Weapons training, high damage. It's part of the reason why Zuriel is just such a great card. It's only the amount of damage that it can bring for 7 mana is just crazy. You know, combine that with Aves, easy win. Okay, so I promised you a potential counter, and I have not seen a counter better than this one right here. So let's do our normal thing here. 27, so this is the lowest we've seen. All right, let's do our math real quick. 3, 6, 12, 15, 20, right? So this one, we didn't even have enough mana to bring another card with an attack. We had to bring 2 1 attack or 1 mana cards. Okay, so we're at 20. 20 for 27, not bad. My opponent, 1, 3, 6. This hits twice, so 10, 12. Okay, 20 to 12. We have a huge damage advantage. But my opponent went defensive. So we have this new card, the Solus Ashinak, which is a very, very, very good card. Magic Reflect, Return Fire, brings the Savea, which is a great card. I only have it level 3, but it's going to give it shield, it's going to repair, and most importantly, brings the Amplify. So this was a really, really, really great strategy. But as you can see, just too powerful. Oh, the other part that's important to notice is for who you decide to have the double attack. So look at this, right? Boom. Boom. My double attack card is gone in round 1. Old School. All right, Old School's fighting me in some sort of tournament. I lost another damage dealer in round 1. Aves is a Divine Shield. What I was saying was the Pelacor Conjurer, having the Divine Shield, also protects it from 1 Return Fire, Magic, Reflect, etc. When you make it the double attack card. this is kind of just showcasing, this ends up showcasing how good the Smith is, specifically when you give it an attack. So we look outmatched here, and I was like, oh wow, this is like my first time I've seen this strategy lose in low mana. Not so fast, so they have to waste some more attacks back here. And again, previously, the Aves is gone, the Smith would lose its attack, not with the update. So the Smith is going to eat an attack every turn with its repaired shield, or with its repaired armor. Has the shield ability, so it's counting it all, it's halving everything. And just slowly gets it done with 3 magic attack. We're safe by 1 turn. That was probably one of the best counters I could think of. Obviously, there's other cards you can play instead, and etc. But that counter was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And it still just didn't matter. So this is a very powerful strategy, as you can see. It's mostly low mana. A lot of these cards are expensive, but this is more about the concept. Low mana weapons training. How can you implement low mana weapons training into your league, into your deck, into your situation? It's probably not going to look like my situation, but that's also because I'm playing at high champion, right? You probably don't need it to look like this, depending on where you're at. If you're playing at high champion, you probably need to be able to invest in these cards anyways. But if you're playing in sort of a lower league, or a lower level, maybe you're gold and diamond, just think about how you can implement these types of strategies into your lineup. Okay, that's going to be it for me. Excited to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for some more gameplay videos shortly. I will talk to you guys soon, and see you around the game.